This video discusses the massive adjustments in children's education that parents all over the world are dealing with due to pandemic-induced school closures. These adjustments are creating mass homeschooling, as predicted by Kerry McDonald, FEE's Senior Education Fellow 2 months ago. It is possible that millions of youngsters absent from government school classrooms may lead to education becoming as good as it was before the government got involved. In early America, education was better and more widespread than most people today realize or were ever told, as explained in Robert A. Peterson's Education in Colonial America. The Federalist Papers, which are seldom read or understood today even in our universities, were written for and read by the common man. Literacy rates were as high or higher than they are today. Incredibly, a study conducted in 1800 by DuPont de Nemours revealed that only 4 in 1,000 Americans were unable to read and write legibly. Laws against the education of black slaves date back to as early as 1740, but the desire to read proved too strong to prevent its steady growth even under bondage. Parents did not even consider that the civil government in any way had the responsibility or should assume the responsibility of providing for the education of children. Only one state even had compulsory schooling laws before the Civil War, yet literacy rates were among the highest in our history. Britain experienced similar trends. A government school system is no guarantee that young people will actually learn to read and write well. A study conducted by the U.S. Department of Education found that 32 million American adults are illiterate, 21% read below a 5th grade level, and 19% of high school graduates are functionally illiterate, which means they can't read well enough to manage daily living and perform tasks required by many jobs. Compulsory government schools were not established in America because of some widely perceived failure of private education, which makes it both erroneous and self-serving for the government school establishment to propagate the myth that Americans would be illiterate without them. The prime motivation for government schooling was something much less benign than a fear of illiteracy. Kerry McDonald's book, Unschooled: Raising Curious, Well-Educated Children Outside the Conventional Classroom, explains the viable, self-directed alternatives that far outclass the standardized, test-driven, massively expensive and politicized government schooling of today. If you're looking for a good history of how America traveled the path of literacy to a national education crisis, you can find it in a recent, well-documented book by Justin Spears and Associates, titled Failure: The History and Results of America's School System. Education in early America is discussed in Stephen Mansfield's book, Lincoln's Battle with God: A President's Struggle with Faith and What It Meant for America. It traces the spiritual journey of America's 16th president, who went from being a fiery atheist to one whose last words to his wife on that tragic evening at Ford's Theater were a promise to visit the Holy Land and see those places hallowed by the footsteps of the Savior. The video ends with a passage from Mansfield's book that highlights the importance of education in early America. Subscribe Libertarian Facts.